Fala, guys, sejam bem-vindos ao meu Xbox. Aqui é o Marcos. Guys, hoje vai ser um vídeo um pouquinho diferente, tá? Eu quero fazer meio que um react aí. Nós tivemos uma participação especial do Phil Spencer em um podcast, tá? Ele falou um pouquinho sobre a aquisição da Activision, foi logo depois da aquisição. E vamos dar uma olhadinha sobre o que ele falou, se tem alguma pista aí de quando vamos ter alguns jogos novos da Activision chegando no Game Pass e parará, enfim. Bom, vamos lá então, 30 minutinhos, tá, guys? Podcast. Então pega aquela pipoquinha aí, uma aguinha, um suquinho, pá. Se prepara e vamos curtir. Eu coloquei aqui a legenda em português, tá? O vídeo ele não tem legendas, coloquei em português pra gente poder estar conferindo. Mas antes de começar o vídeo, rapaziada, mete aquele likezão para apoiar meu trabalho, se inscreva e ative o sininho para receber todos os vídeos aqui do canal. Partiu!
Games in this podcast range from E to M.
Hello and welcome to the official Xbox podcast, the only podcast coming to you from literally inside Xbox, and we are indeed back inside Xbox.
Então sim, é um podcast do Xbox mesmo.
Fellow co-host Malik and Tina and hi Phil.
Not a co-host.
Phil's here.
It feels like we're inside of an Xbox.
We are.
I thought that's
We're
what,
talking about
yes.
that, yeah.
How cool would that
This
be?
is what it is.
In a console, we can
We'll
do
work
this.
on it.
Guys, eu vou evitar apertar pause, tá? Porque eu quero pra correr logo o tempo aí.
He's excited.
E depois que terminar, a gente comenta um pouquinho.
I'll slouch the rest of the day on my laptop. So, and you may notice we're posting a little bit earlier this week. You may also notice that the CEO of gaming at Microsoft, Phil Spencer, is sitting right here next to us because this is no ordinary week. So whether you're watching us on youtube.com/Xbox, listening to us on Apple or Google Podcasts, or you can actually do both on Spotify, thank you for joining the official Xbox podcast at what is a very special time for gamers and, to be
Exatamente.
honest, for us as well.
Pra quem tá na caverna,
Late last week, Activision Blizzard and all of their teams
exato.
formally joined
Activision Blizzard acabou de ser adquirida, confirmou, né, a aquisição pela Xbox.
That's why we've got Phil here. We're going straight to the source. I'm pleased to welcome you here to the show, but also as Team Xbox, we are really pleased to welcome all the folks from Activision, Blizzard, and King to Team Xbox.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been, how should we say, it's been a long journey. I loved in our video, our announced video, there was the line about, it's been about time. It has been a long journey, but to those teams, because I mean,
O engraçado desse vídeo, tá, que a aquisição foi feita em menos de 2 horas eles postaram um vídeo, né? Então estava tudo preparado.
Part of our Xbox team, what we're trying to go do. The reason I'm flying to Stockholm today to go see the King teams. I'm excited about that. Next week I'll be down.
Só para explicar, sim, guys, eu vou apertar pause o menos possível, tá? Mas é como eu falei, já estava tudo preparado, né? Então, quando foi feita a aquisição, o que eu achei engraçado foi isso. Eu até coloquei isso no vídeo anterior. Foi feita a aquisição, né? A CMA ela aprovou. Cara, não passou 2 horas, irmão. Não passou 2 horas. Já tinha teaser de introdução, né? De boas-vindas para a Activision. Já tinha presidente da própria Activision, né? O Kotick lá, o cara que ninguém gosta dele, fazendo declaração sobre isso, né? Então, assim, é uma coisa que já estava, cara, já estava tudo esquematizado. Eles sabiam que era certo. Vamos falar que é verdade, acho que todo mundo meio que sabia isso, né? Vamos lá. A próxima semana estarei no sul da Califórnia fazendo o que, tio Phil?
To see the Activision teams and the Blizzard teams. I want to go in, I want to listen, I want to learn, I want to hear what they're passionate about, their feedback, their energy. It's a big moment. It's a big moment for us. A lot of opportunity, and I'm incredibly excited by it all. So welcome to the team. Congrats on the kind of refresh on the podcast. It's awesome to see.
Thank you.
I don't think refresh is probably the official word you use, but I love the relaunch. I think the energy you're bringing to the show. This is episode 5.
Five, yeah.
I came in thinking it was 4, but you corrected me.
You were close.
I was close, but it's awesome. You guys have done a great job.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Very kind.
Pronto, então é isso mesmo. É um podcast, eles não tem muitos episódios, né? Falou que é o 5º episódio, né? Então, é por isso que não é tão conhecido, guys. Eu vou ser muito sincero, eu nem sabia que tinha um podcast do Xbox, né? Não é tão conhecido, eles têm poucos episódios aqui. Então, interessante, né? É bom pra te acompanhar, você que quer ficar se atualizando sobre algumas coisas de dentro do próprio Xbox. Acho que nada mais justo que você buscar lá da própria fonte, né, rapaziada?
For the vote of confidence in multiple ways.
And this is what we want. We want this 4th chair here to be taken up by, folks who work here, other devs that come into town.
Now, this chair has a name by you. What do you call this?
This is the This is
We're
the
not
first time
talking about
actually
that in
we have
public.
The cheese couch.
The
So
cheese
You're
couch?
breaking
He
in
hates the
cheese couch.
couch. I love the couch.
I feel like
I
it's more
think it's
mustard.
comfortable.
I think
more
it's
mustard,
comfortable.
you know?
Mustard,
Yeah.
and I like mustard.
I
Yeah.
like mustard,
Mustard,
but
yeah.
that is, you put that on a cheesesteak. You just like wipe it on
Cheese
the
is
on the
good.
cushion right
Mustard's
there.
good. I don't know what the
Yeah.
problem
I don't have a
is.
problem with it. I just don't want to sit on it.
This
right?
is team
Well, that's
cheese
why
over
we
here.
changed
Okay, all right,
seats.
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, from now on, you sit here,
Perfect.
and I'm here
Done
in my
deal.
neutral.
I will
gray
give the
chair.
couch
Neutral
love.
gray.
So, noticing the hoodie here,
Mm-hmm.
were you at the Halo World Championships?
Deu a impressão que ele ficou um pouquinho desconfortável, cara. Porque a gente tá tipo, mano, tudo bem, velho. Vocês gostam desse negócio aí, mas eu não quero essa poltrona. Eu quero ficar aqui na minha, que é neutra, de boa, mas passou a impressão, posso estar falando besteira, tá? Coloca nos comentários aí. Passou a impressão que ele ficou um pouquinho
Yeah,
desconfortável.
I went last night. I was in Seattle, so I went over. I didn't get to stay till the end, but congrats to FaZe. FaZe beat Optic. We almost had a repeat champion, but we didn't. It was a reset. So then, if people don't know, you kind of come up from the losers bracket. If you win, then there's another match between the final two teams. So it went, and that's the reset. Went again, and it was awesome. It was sold out. Seeing the community there, I try to go every year when they do it in Seattle at the Washington Convention Center. But the fans were there, all the vendors, and there were some great charitable causes in the back. It was a fun event.
There's a lot more than just the esports stuff too. We had Brian Gerard on last week who told us all about season 5, and I know they
Firefight.
revealed more. Yeah, Firefight King
Come
of
on.
the Hill.
Yes,
Só
but
pra
I want the date.
vocês ficarem, só pra vocês entenderem, tá, guys? Porque, assim, particularmente, eu não falo muito desse jogo, até dos campeonatos que tem de Halo aqui do canal, tá? Eu não que eu não seja muito fã da franquia, mas eu conheci Xbox muito depois, né? Então eu acabei não jogando todos os Halo. Eu tenho até, pô, que engraçado, o cara tem um canal de Xbox, e eu quero um dia, né? Tem alguns vídeos que eu gravei que eles não estão postados aqui, eu vou postar depois algumas algumas séries que eu fiz de Halo. Só que assim, não joguei todos ainda, tá bom? Mas enfim, por que eu tô falando isso? Eles estão falando aqui no caso do campeonato de Halo que teve, né? Então teve já a equipe que foi campeã, enfim. Só pra vocês ficarem um pouquinho por dentro. Então aqui eles estão falando sobre o campeonato de Halo que teve foi na Califórnia, foi no começo? Eu não sei, ele tá aqui embaixo, ó, Halo World Championships, mas eu não sei qual foi o local.
They keep giving me, it's like soon. And I'm going over to Pierre. It's like, what is soon? I want to play Firefight sooner, like now, but it's not now.
That feels like a command.
No, you know me. I don't have any commands.
When it's ready.
But no, season 5 looked awesome. They had a bunch of stations in the back where people got to play the season 5 content during the HCS. So it was good. I'm always proud of Elizabeth and Pierre and the whole team that there's a ton of people who put all that on. And it's great. It's great to have it here. And our studio team gets to go. And there's always such an energy, I think, when the people who are working on the game get to go see an event. You know, I'm lucky enough to get to go to a ton of events and feel that energy. You've all been. But when a team who's spent so many years working on a game does the work, gets to go and feel it in the arena, I think that's special. In season 5, I think we've been through a journey with Infinite, but I think season 5, it feels like the energy is as positive as it's been in a long time with Infinite. And that's awesome.
In the comments last week, when we had Brian on the show, everyone in the comments like, they're talking about Halo again. Like, people are in 100%. So it's so exciting to see.
E uma coisa que é interessante, tá, guys? Só falando de Halo novamente, né? É porque o Halo ele não é tão popular. Se vocês forem buscar um público de Halo aqui no Brasil, ele não é tão popular, não é tão grande. Tem até alguns canais aqui brasileiros que eles são focados mais em Halo, né? E o pessoal realmente é muito bom. Mas aqui no Brasil ele não é tão popular, né? Agora, lá fora, da mesma forma que o Xbox ele é absurdamente popular, principalmente nos States, né, nos Estados Unidos, Halo também é. Então, assim, por isso que eles falam com tanta paixão, não é porque é o pessoal do Xbox, é o Phil Spencer, pá, o cara ali, né, que tá lá em cima, é o podcast do Xbox. É claro que tem o puxa-saquismo e tal, mas assim, o Halo lá fora, ele é extremamente popular, ele é muito grande lá nos Estados Unidos.
See that on top of World Championships. Just, bring everyone together and get everyone excited again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Forge AI, that's going to bring a ton more content to the game. And as someone who's not going to use it, but is going to consume what is made from it, I'm very excited to see what people
I was talking to the team about the Forge tools, and they were the community always takes our creative tools, whether it's in Minecraft, which I think we'll talk about in a second, in Halo, even things like Flight Sim and the creator tools that are there, the mod tools in our Bethesda games. But I know the team with the Forge AI stuff, they think there's going to be completely new genres that are built on top of Halo inside of the Forge tools. I can't wait. I used to love going in and playing Duck Hunt. If you ever did that in the old Forge tools, people had actually built a Duck Hunt.
like actual, like the old
Yeah,
school?
you would play. There was a guy across with a snipe, and then you kind of had this like S that you had to go up. So you'd start off, I'm going to guess, like 15 of us as Spartans. You're like, okay, does he see us? And then you all run and you get taken down, and the goal was to get to them. It was a lot of fun, but like it's just the stuff that the community does. Gaming is about the community, so when we put creative tools in their hands and see what they create, I just think it makes the games more than just ours. It becomes the community's games.
What was really awesome, and I don't, we'll move on, but I asked, hey, is there like a pathway from creating content in Forge to working here? And the person I was talking to, yeah, that's me actually. I started off.
Guys, eu vou querer ver o podcast inteiro, tá? Então, assim, nós temos aí mais uns 20 minutos, um pouquinho de vídeo. Quem quiser pular pra frente um pouquinho, ó, aqui tá acabando, ó, a parte de Halo, que tá falando do campeonato. Mais um pouquinho, depois eu ia falar um pouquinho, bem pouquinho, tá? De Minecraft, alguma coisa, novidade sobre Minecraft. E depois o resto aqui, a partir dos 9 minutos, rapaziada, vai falar, respondendo questões sobre Activision Blizzard King, tá bom? E vai ser quase tudo, né, velho? Quase tudo. Depois aqui o What Games Phil is Playing, que jogo o Phil está jogando, e final, que conversa final, ok. Cara, é uma coisa que eu quero que vocês prestem muita atenção, tá? Phil Spencer fez uma mudança muito grande na Microsoft, no Xbox em particular. Por quê? Não só porque ele é um bom administrador, né? Não só porque ele sabe mexer ali tudo, mas é porque ele mostra que ele entende do assunto que é videogame, né? Então, por isso eu quero assistir tudo aqui, porque ele tá falando, cara, e vocês veem que ele entende do que ele tá falando. Entendeu? Não é, por exemplo, não é criticando, tá? Até porque aqui eu evito falar de Flame War, esse tipo de coisa, console War. Mas, por exemplo, o próprio sonista, né? O pessoal que curte o PlayStation, eles criticavam muito o próprio Jim Ryan, porque parecia que ele não entendia muito de assunto. Por mais que ele estivesse anos, tipo, muito tempo, cara, na PlayStation, ele era aquele negócio mais administrativo, tá ligado? Ele não era aquele negócio, administrativo, mas também manja, tipo, é um cara que joga videogame. Entendeu? Diferente do Phil. Por isso que ele passa esse charme a mais aí e acaba conquistando muitas pessoas também por conta disso. Vamos lá.
Making content in Forge.
That's right. And one of the maps that I saw, it's more than one, but one of the maps I specifically remembered last night was actually created by us, but in Forge. So you can, and that was in the championship. So when our own teams are using our community tools to create content, you know you're using the same things that the professionals are using. So then it's just creating content that people love. And then through some of our places, we've actually been able to create a marketplace where creators can actually build a business, creating that content and selling to the community, which is fantastic as well.
So Halo World Championships this weekend. Also this weekend, Minecraft Live. Tina, you were really close to that.
Yes, yeah. The Xbox broadcast team produced that show in partnership with Mojang. Another super creator-forward game. So it's been a really good weekend for Xbox overall. And it was a really cool spin on how we normally record that show. We actually did in full extended reality here at the Xbox studio where we're filming the podcast out of. Right downstairs, Studio One. And it was really fun because we got to take the actual worlds of Minecraft and put the developers and our hosts Lydia and Vu into those worlds and kind of interact. We had a really cool minecart journey kind of going through with a bunch of goofs, and it just really came together in a fun way of telling the news on a yearly basis because it's our biggest beat of the year for Minecraft and for Xbox in a lot of ways, I might argue. But it was a really nice opportunity to talk about some fun updates to vanilla. I think people are really excited about auto crafting. And of course, we revealed the latest mob that will be created for Minecraft, and that's the...
Mais atualizações, né, de Minecraft.
I think everyone knows now.
Everyone knows
I mouthed
quick
it. I'm sorry.
It's the
Armadillo.
Armadillo's
one.
There it is.
Yeah, so it's always a fun new tradition for the team to be able to invite the community in to help decide what's going into the game in a lot of ways, including the mob.
Well, you can go back in time, you can watch that on, actually all of that.
Aqui, ó, ele vai terminar de falar de Minecraft. Antes de falar do Activision, cara, já parou de pensar como Minecraft é absurdamente, cara, É incrível, cara. É incrível o tamanho de Minecraft. É um jogo que, assim, é aquela coisa, muita gente não gosta, muita gente tem um preconceito, né? Mas até hoje, cara, se você pesquisar no YouTube, Minecraft há muito tempo, e há pouco tempo, aliás, ele estava em primeiro lugar como o jogo mais assistido no YouTube, tá? Em outras plataformas também como o jogo mais jogado e tal. Mas no YouTube é o jogo mais assistido, cara. Então, assim, Minecraft é absurdo. Tanto é que tem muito youtuber hoje no YouTube que ele é grande por causa de Minecraft. Entende, guys? Então, assim, é absurdo o tamanho desse jogo, velho. Eu particularmente não gosto, mas tem que reconhecer, é a verdade, cara. Vamos lá, agora vamos falar de
As much as we'd love to continue talking about
conversando
that with
sobre
yourself,
isso com você, Phil.
also, big
Exatamente.
deal has closed on Friday, and I'm seeing a lot of headlines, a lot of YouTubers saying things like, "It's done, it's done," and we were talking earlier. This isn't the end. This is really the beginning with Xbox and Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, I think the regulatory process, let's just say it took so long that
Quase
it
2
almost
anos,
felt
né,
like
velho?
the game or the kind of goal itself was to get through the regulatory process. That's just the beginning. In fact, this evening I'm flying to Stockholm to see the King team. It's a team I don't know that well, so I'm really excited to go see them. I think we're in Stockholm and then London. They have a couple other locations. I don't know that we're going to make to all the locations, but I'm really excited about seeing the teams. The following week, I'm going down to Southern California. I'll go to Blizzard. I'll go see Activision. And to me, when I think about where we're trying to go, it always starts with the teams, right? The teams have to feel motivated. They have to feel inspired. They have to feel safe. They have to feel heard. And because their passion, their commitment to the things that they build, the way they run their games, that comes from the culture of who they are. I've said it many times. I think teams ship their culture in everything they do, whether it's implicit or explicit. You can kind of feel the dynamic on a team and the creative output, whether it's a band, whether it's a writer, or whatever. So spending time with the teams and getting to hear from them where they're going. I have some of my own opinions, of course, but they're just opinions. This is getting time with the teams, thinking about where we're trying to go, then looking at the games and where we are and where the roadmap. That's really where the work is, and I'm very very excited about that.
É interessante, dois pontos que ele pegou muito importantes aqui. Né? Então, o primeiro é que realmente, né, o pessoal tá pensando que, pronto, comprou Activision, cara, vai chegar Call of Duty no Game Pass. Vamos ter vários jogos da Activision chegando no Game Pass. Vamos ter, sabe, uns negócios diferentes aqui, um lançamento para. Cara, não é assim não, velho. Como ele falou, foram quase 2 anos depois da aquisição da Activision. Finalmente conseguiu, mas assim, é só o começo, irmão. Só no começo. Agora vai ter as reuniões, né, para saber se vale a pena tá colocando determinados jogos no Game Pass, se vai ter que haver um aumento, né, no Game Pass por conta desses jogos que estão chegando também. Então, assim, muita coisa vai estar acontecendo. Outra coisa interessante é falando das equipes, né? Porque quando estava tendo os órgãos regulatórios, eles estavam entre aceitar ou não a aquisição da Activision, a própria Activision já se sentia vendida. Por quê? Quem está lá dentro não gosta eu sempre esqueço o nome dele, acho que é Kotick, né? Que é o atual presidente da Activision, porque, cara, ele, enfim, assim, cometeu diversos vacilos. Já foi acusado várias vezes por assédio, por omitir assédio, né? Então, assim, ele está há muito tempo lá e é muita polêmica em cima dele. E fora também em relação a trabalhos, para esse tipo de coisa. Então, os próprios funcionários, eles estavam animados sabe, a perspectiva de entrar para a Microsoft, de entrar para a Xbox. Então, quando ele fala esse tipo de coisa, é óbvio que assim, ele quer conversar com o pessoal, sentir ter o feeling ali, porque, cara, é uma coisa que os funcionários da Activision já estavam esperando. Eles queriam muito que a Activision ela fosse comprada pela Xbox. Né? Então, esse eu acho que inclusive foi até uma dos a mais, né, que fez com que fosse fácil, entre aspas, conseguir adquirir essa empresa, guys.
And as part of that journey, obviously there's the big burning question that everybody would like to know, and you mentioned it in your Xbox Wire
When's Hexen
post.
coming back? That's what people want to know.
I think that's what you want to know.
Might be one of my questions.
Yes, but that is part of it. But it's also, and you wrote in your Xbox Wire post last week as well, that the work has started on bringing Activision Blizzard King games to Game Pass and other platforms. And I think
Exatamente.
like speculation and wish lists have been running wild
Yeah,
ever since
yeah.
last week. So I'm sure you've seen all of that. But what does that mean exactly, especially when we think about our last acquisition in 2021 with Bethesda? There was a fairly immediate drop of back catalog games. So I think people are looking to that and wondering, is that kind of how the format is going to go now?
Exatamente. Vocês pegaram a pergunta, né? Porque assim, quando teve a aquisição em 2021 da Bethesda, adquiriu a Bethesda, cara, os jogos da Bethesda chegaram assim, quase que imediatamente no Xbox Game Pass, né? Fora que já tinha alguns, né, no Xbox Game Pass, tirando, por exemplo, se não me engano, esqueci o nome do jogo, aquele jogo que você fica voltando no tempo, Deathloop, e mais um também que é o Tóquio alguma coisa, que eram jogos da Bethesda, que ela já tinha feito uma parceria com a PlayStation. Esses jogos lançaram somente para a PlayStation, a Bethesda tendo sido adquirida já para Xbox, pelo Xbox, porém ela manteve o papel, né? Então assim, a Bethesda, sendo uma empresa do Xbox, lançou os jogos para a PlayStation, ficaram exclusivos para a PlayStation durante um ano. Quando acabou a exclusividade deles, desses dois jogos, eles vieram para o Xbox, inclusive como uma DLC desse jogo de Tóquio. Cara, eu esqueci o nome, esse jogo é muito massa, eu curti pra caramba ele, muito lindo. Mas chegou, né? Então tem muito essa perspectiva de, pô, beleza, será que vai ser igual da Bethesda? É isso que ela tá perguntando agora. Vai ser a mesma coisa? Sim, sim, não, não? Como é que é?
Or what does that actually look like?
And I think rightfully so, right? When we finished Bethesda, there was this great moment. We were able to put a bunch of the back catalog games
Exato.
and celebrate their history. The truth of the matter is, with Activision Blizzard King, that the regulatory process took so long, and frankly, there was a lot of uncertainty in that process up until really a week before we closed, or the week of, when the CMA finally came down to their decision, that we weren't able to get in and work with mostly Activision and Blizzard in this case, on that back catalog work. So now that the deal is closed, we're starting that work, but there is work. And I think the Activision Twitter handle, or X handle, whatever we're calling it, did put out a statement. I can't call it X, but Twitter handle did put out something that talked about 2024. I think that's accurate. There's no I would love it if there was some kind of secret celebration drop that's coming in the next couple of weeks. There's not. It's definitely.
Pronto, falou tudo. Pegaram? O Twitter, enfim, vamos lá. O que ele quis dizer aqui? Que postaram, né? Tiveram postagens, pararam no Twitter, que os jogos poderiam chegar em 2024, mas assim, nada oficial. O pessoal colocando lá, enfim. E foi o que ele colocou aqui agora, né? Que ele gostaria, né? De dar uma surpresa para o público e tal, de nas próximas semanas estarem chegando alguns jogos do Game Pass. Porém, como ele falou, que isso é muito difícil. Então, provavelmente somente em 2024. Mas assim, nada absurdo, tá, guys? Então, 2024, mas no começo de 2024, sabe? Porque a gente, no final do ano, até lá dá pra se preparar para alguma coisa aí também.
Definitely when we think about the new games that are there, I would be straight with people, right? If we were going to put them in the subscription this year, I would.
Exato, então esse ano esquece, guys.
And I know there'll be some disappointment about that. This acquisition is definitely long-term. So the fact that we're not hitting day one with a bunch of games dropping in to Game Pass is a little bit of a downer, but I'm very excited about the future. And I just want to be straight with people that that's where we are.
There you go, addressing the rumors. Now let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 coming out next month. Very excited. I played the beta over the weekend.
The open beta, what did you think?
It's very interesting getting humbled by your reaction time going down every single year.
Okay, young man.
It's very clear that
I count my reaction time in like tens of seconds now.
Well, people are getting really good at the game, but to that point, like people are really excited about it. And I think for players who may not be playing on Xbox, they want to know, what does this mean for them on their platform? Like, is Xbox going to see exclusive DLC, early release, things like that? So what can you?
Por isso que aconteceu muito com a PlayStation, né?
To play Call of Duty on other.
And when we say other platforms, I think we're talking about PlayStation.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that other one.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think the PC players, their PC is unique, and I want it to feel like it's part of the overall gaming platform that Xbox focuses on. We've been on that journey for a while with our first party and our Xbox app on PC. There's a lot of work for us to continue to do there. For Call of Duty players on PlayStation and in the future on Nintendo, I want you to feel 100% part of the community. I don't want you to feel like there's content you're missing out, there's skins you're missing out, there's timing that you're missing out on. That's not the goal. The goal is 100% parity across all platforms as much as we can for launching content. I say as much as we can on parity because clearly some platforms have resolution and frame rate differences just based on perf. But there's nothing else. Like we have no goal of trying
É
somehow
muito importante, né, velho?
to get you to buy an Xbox console.
Pronto, isso aqui eu já tinha visto algumas notícias que ele já tinha passado, inclusive, que era o quê? Eles não planejam criar conteúdos exclusivos, exemplo, né, o Call of Duty, mas provavelmente temos os jogos também, acho que tá aí. Da mesma forma que a própria PlayStation ela fazia, né? Ela criava determinados conteúdos exclusivos para meio que puxar os jogadores. E assim, o que era chato é que o quê? Porque ela criava esses conteúdos exclusivos para jogos que são multiplataforma, né? Então isso assim, foi um negócio legal, né? Que ele passou tanto para o pessoal do PC, quanto o pessoal do PlayStation, quanto o pessoal da Nintendo. Né? Um negócio legal. E o negócio, tipo, cara, meio que um tapa na cara da PlayStation, que olha, a gente vai ganhar dinheiro e não vai precisar fazer esse negócio de exclusividade não, irmão. Sabe? Enfim. Então, assim, não vai ter, pelo menos agora, né, não vai ter nada exclusivo para PlayStation, para Xbox, no caso aqui, guys.
I want the Call of Duty Nation to feel supported across all platforms. We've been on the other side of some of those skins and times, even this beta, like it wasn't on Xbox the first week. Like I don't think that helps the community. I don't think that helps the game. And so it's the focus if you're a PlayStation player, you're a Nintendo player, PC player, or an Xbox console player. I want you to feel like 100% part of the Call of Duty Nation.
Love that.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we were talking about the rumors of when
quando poderiam aparecer no Game Pass. Não tem muito o que falar, irmão.
The other sort of like set of rumors is, or
There's
speculation out there.
Rumors.
There's only the two, right? Is like,
only two.
Are you bringing back Guitar Hero?
Opa, vamos lá, então se preparem, viu? Porque é um dos boatos também que tinha, porque assim, tem algumas franquias Activision que estavam mortas, né? E uma delas, cara, é Guitar Hero. Por quê? Porque Guitar Hero, cara, antigamente era muito mais fácil você fazer esse tipo de jogo, né? Às vezes elas eram um pouquinho mais brandas, porque o videogame ele não era tão popular, né? Era visto como um negócio de criança. Então, quando o pessoal colocava um joguinho ali, umas musiquinhas e tal, não tinha tanta cobrança da parte do próprio cantor, tá ligado? Então, assim, hoje não, cara. Hoje o videogame é uma das indústrias que mais movimenta dinheiro. Eu acho que até mais que o cinema, se eu não me engano. Mas, assim, movimenta muito dinheiro. Então, você criar, por exemplo, um Guitar Hero, cara, é muito difícil. Porque cada música que você colocar ali, irmão, você vai ter, sabe, direito do artista, enfim, muita coisa que você vai estar pagando por fora, as pessoas que participaram das músicas, enfim. Então, é uma pergunta interessante. Ele falou então aqui de Guitar Hero, Tony Hawks, tem outras franquias também Activision, tá? Que estão meio mortinhas aí. Vamos ver o que o Phil vai falar.
Or would you have, Infinity Ward work on this Xbox IP or franchise or something like that? And that stuff's been, there was 20 months to think about those types of things.
Yeah.
But now that officially the team has joined as of Friday, so you have 9 studios, there's a wealth of IP from Activision. Like, how are you thinking about these new teams, these new franchises, or new to us franchises? Like, how do you even take all of that in?
Yeah, the first thing, as I kind of mentioned before, is to go spend time with the teams. Because I just don't think that a team working on something that isn't their passion leads to the best result. So I might have my list of things from my memories in history that I want to see made again. Everybody will, right? When I just think about, not just about Activision Blizzard King, you add in Bethesda, you add in Xbox's history, Rare, like the amount of franchises that we now have in our portfolio it's kind of inspiring. It's daunting. I feel that we have to be a great custodian for the content that we touch. These are memories from people on different platforms, different decades. And I want to make sure that when we're going back and visiting something that we do it
Crash, né, cara? Verdade.
A motivated team that wants to go.
Crash, ele marcou muitas pessoas, cara, na plataforma PlayStation, né, velho? Então, assim, hoje faz parte do Xbox, né? Vamos ver como que eles vão trabalhar com essa franquia também.
Not just create something for financial gain or create something for a PR announcement and not deliver on the product. So I'm going to start with the teams and what are they passionate about. That's why I'm excited to go on these visits. And then we'll look at it. Like I think we've done an okay job as Xbox. I don't think we've done kind of an A+ job on looking at our franchises and revisiting them. It's always a trade-off between what do you do that's new and going back and doing something. I do think with Game Pass, we have the ability to maybe pick a couple franchises every year and almost do like a revisited. I just made up that term, so it's not a brand.
It's not on a box.
It's not on a box, but I tease about things like Hexen just because I remember playing it as a kid. I have no plan for that, but I do think when you look across all of the franchises that are a part of our teams, there's an opportunity for us to go back, even if it's just to recognize the moment and what those things meant in gaming's history and do something right with it, make it available to people through Game Pass. I think there's an opportunity. There's not a plan for that, but there's an opportunity. If people want to, teams want to go back and revisit some of the things that we have and do kind of a full focus on it, I'm going to be all in on that because I think there's just an amazing trove of things that we can go and touch again. It doesn't have to just be about Activision and Blizzard. Like I said, when you look across all the portfolio, I think about things like the Quake 2 remaster. It just came out from it. I thought that was awesome, right? They did a real good job revisiting a game, making it current, but also not leaving the history behind. So I'd love to see more things like that.
So you mentioned the trove of content, the treasure trove, and you've mentioned Hexen.
Yeah.
I think so. It fits. But are there, Hexen's maybe a deep cut for some because it's a shooter from the 90s, and we obviously have a very wide-ranging community. Are there any other games or franchises, just for you personally, deep in the vault that we can now potentially explore that you're just personally excited for people to discover for the first time or maybe rediscover?
I hadn't really thought about that question. Specific on Activision and Blizzard, there's some moments in Activision's history. You mentioned Tony Hawk, you mentioned Guitar Hero, even things like Skylanders, moments where the teams kind of innovated outside of expectation. What do you mean? I'm going to carry a plastic guitar and plug it into my console and play? Like, that's never going to work until it worked. And then everybody said, well, of course that was going to work. Skylanders kind of the same way. For me personally, though, when I think about the franchises, I kind of go back to things like some of the old Infocom things that were, like you just asked for me personally, part of my youth, the Text Adventure Zork, those kind of things. I think about King's Quest. I thought they did a really nice job. But like those, the Sierra catalog, the Infocom catalog, just because of my age, like those things speak to me because they were moments in my gaming career, my gaming kind of experience that really meant something. And I love those. When you think about Blizzard and all these things that they've done, like amazing franchise, StarCraft, like it was in the video teams did, which I know there's been some discussion about should we have done a video for an acquisition or not, but there's just some amazing franchises in there. Most important is that we treat them with the respect that they deserve, and we don't turn it into some way for us just to kind of, like I said, a PR moment or something else.
100%. By the way, I almost cried at that video. That was a cool video that we put out on Friday. So.
Na moral. É muito puxa-saquismo, cara. Com todo respeito, irmão, tipo, não, é muito massa, tá ligado? Todo mundo, acho que muita gente ficou feliz, né, com a aquisição. Vai falar que tu quase chorou com o vídeo ali de bem boas-vindas pra Activision. Irmão, na moral, velho. Puxou aí, cara, puxou muito o saco, meu parceiro.
I like the video. I saw some
awesome.
people.
I thought it was awesome. But so we've been talking about, obviously we've been doing the show for a few weeks now. We've been talking about Diablo, Overwatch, all these awesome games that Activision and Blizzard both work on. But we talk about ABK. The K stands for King.
Yeah.
And that's definitely mobile gaming focus. And so how are you thinking about mobile gaming as it pertains to Xbox?
My goal as head of Xbox is, I've been here over 20 years. I want Xbox to be a great brand, a great community for people over the next decades to come. So when I've thought about that, of what do we need to have in our portfolio and our capability as a team to ensure 30 years from now, Xbox is bigger and stronger than it is today, we've got to be relevant on mobile. There's just no way to really plot the future without
Pessoal do
being on
celular,
the
ó, pode ficar
platform that
feliz.
most of the planet plays on. The games are different, the business models are different, the whole dynamic of how you distribute, how you find games is different. So when I was looking at that, I needed to find a team that's had amazing success for us to learn from. So literally, Amy Hood, who's the CFO of Microsoft, and I went through a list of who are the most accomplished publishers in the mobile space. And most people wouldn't have expected, I think, I didn't, that Activision would have been as high with the King work, as well as the Call of Duty mobile work, Warzone stuff.
É, isso é interessante falar, né? Porque assim, a Microsoft ela vai focar muito, guys, na parte de celular, né? Então, o Xbox ele quer dominar todas as plataformas, né? Tanto é que a Activision não tá aí para isso. Não é só um negócio que a Microsoft, o Xbox, ele comprou a Activision porque quer trazer o Call of Duty, porque o Joãozinho quer o Call of Duty no Game Pass. Não é isso não. Também é óbvio que a gente tá falando de um jeito bonito, mas assim, tem a parte financeira, o investimento que eles vão ter lá para frente que vai ser muito grande. Porque assim, a parte de eles adquirirem uma empresa que produz jogos para celular, que já não é uma empresa que está começando, não é uma empresa que tem poucos jogos, mas é uma empresa que já produz jogos há um tempo, inclusive alguns com sucesso. Esse Warzone eu cheguei a jogar algumas vezes, tá, guys? É um jogo muito massa. E assim, é impressionante o jogo desse rodar para celular, e é bonito, tá? É um jogo muito bonito, rodando em um celular, um mobile, né? Então, eles querem entrar também nessa plataforma aí que muita gente usa, porque é mais em conta, né, guys?
That they've been doing, Diablo Immortal. And so I want to go learn from those teams because I think it's critical for us to deliver on the full promise of over 2 billion people playing, the opportunity to reach more of 3 billion people playing video games, to reach more and more people, that people who only play on their phone find Xbox to be something that's interesting for them.
Exato.
It doesn't mean I want
Esse
to
cara
turn
tá
all
no
of our
mercado, velho.
franchises into mobile franchise. It doesn't mean everything's going to go free to play. I think the distribution and business model kind of diversity that we have is a strength of the platform. People who want to buy games, I love that. People want to subscribe to their games, it's great. Free to play games are great as well. But I'm really looking forward to learning on mobile because it's the truth of the matter is if you're going to continue to be relevant in gaming at a global scale, you're going to have to find a way to be relevant on the largest platform, which is mobile. So looking forward to flying and seeing King and talking to them and learning.
Detalhe, você viu que ele falou que alguns jogos podem ser pagos, né, para celular mais pra frente. São produzidos por eles.
Much bigger with like we mentioned, 9
We doubled.
New studios. We doubled. I don't know where you find the time in the day, but how hands-on do you expect you will be with our new teammates?
Yeah, and some people here know that I'm a big consumer of what we do. I play a lot of games. I have
É isso que eu falei que é o diferencial dele.
They're definitely not always right.
E assim, ele joga os
But
jogos
I've
e ele
already
sabe do que ele tá
started
falando,
asking
cara. Não é
questions,
puxando o saco,
getting my
não, mas o
point
cara
of view.
sabe o que tá
I'm
falando,
not
velho.
one that says thou must, like we have to go do this. But asking questions both to learn and to see what we're thinking about and where the ambition is. But I rely on the teams. Like I get the title, I get to come on cool podcasts and talk too much. But the work that happens here is really down to the individuals on the team. From people who are on camera 5 times in the last 5 weeks as opposed to 1 time in the last 5 weeks, the people you can't see that are behind the scenes that make sure these shows happen, the people who are the community managers for the games at places like Minecraft, places like the Forza team, and all, like it is the most important thing I can do is empower the teams. An empowered and motivated team that feels like they have kind of agency and ability to drive their own vision with a perspective that maybe I can help. That is if there's anything I can do in my role, it's empower the teams and make them feel safe, make them feel like failure's okay. Let's go learn, and then I get out of the way because it's decisions that come from this head are not going to be the future of this business. It's really going to be about the now tens of thousands of people that work on Xbox and what they see and listening to our customers. It's why I like moments like Minecraft Live, HCS. I got to speak with so many people at Halo last night. I'm going to events, listening online, playing on Xbox Live P3 and listening to the feedback that people have. Because I want everybody who's part of Xbox, whether you're a customer or you're part of the team, to feel like you have an ability to craft where we're going, as much as I do, frankly.
Yeah, well said. And I can personally attest to that as well, at least in the ways of which my job intersects with your world, your overarching world, where we do get that opportunity and see that you give us the range and the space to kind of make decisions in a cumulative way. So thank you for that. I've appreciated that
Well,
in my last year that I've been here.
even you and I, before you came here,
Hmm.
we would sit down when we would cross paths at events. And I always loved that you had a perspective on things that we were doing well, things that we could do better. It's why I thought you being part of the team would be awesome.
Thank you.
But it is listening to smart
É
people
o
who
chefe, né,
care
cara?
about
Tem
this
que puxar
industry,
saco.
who care about growing this industry in a safe way and an inclusive way, and see there's so much opportunity with gaming, interactive entertainment as a form of community, as a form of education, as a form of joy and just fun. There's so much opportunity in this space, but it's not about 3 or 4 people making all the decisions for the industry. It's about the industry feeling like they have hands on the steering wheel as well. So people who I interact with and have a real constructive perspective come be part of Team Xbox.
And on that note, too, I think for me personally, I love what Activision has been doing with Call of Duty Next. They just had one recently, too, a broadcast where they show off just tons of
Yeah.
news and gameplay and bring their community into the fold. It's a pretty new broadcast for them. And I love that it is a presentation format, like there is news going into it, but at the same time, they invite over 200 creators and
Awesome.
streamers.
I wonder how they do that. I have
It's
no idea how they
wild.
do-
Everything is rigged with the ring lights
Yeah.
and like their
Yeah.
own connection to be able to stream directly into the
Legal, né,
presentation
cara? E
itself.
faz a
So they're
live aí
really
mesmo, velho.
welcoming the community into the broadcast,
É
into the
muito
news.
massa, cara.
And to me, it
Uma
tells,
aguinha, né,
tells
velho?
me
Aqui
that
é a
they have a finger on the
garrafinha
pulse
da
in terms of their
criança.
community, as well as modern ways of approaching broadcast. So obviously, since I'm responsible for what we call premier broadcast here
Yeah.
at Xbox, that's something I'm personally really interested in and have been observing from afar. And now I get this opportunity
We can learn.
where we are teams together and we can learn. So now that Activision Blizzard leadership is reporting to you, what does that mean and how do we come together to learn from each other?
Yeah, we're a big team, especially when we think about greater Microsoft, right? It can, for teams coming in, I think sometimes it can be overwhelming. I think maybe in the case of Bethesda, I think about that journey and some areas where I wanted us to go faster and maybe some areas where I wanted us to go slower. Bethesda was a little different just from our own history because it closed during a pandemic, which had its own set of issues in terms of us getting the teams together. My first goal is to identify the teams at ABK where we can create connection. One of the cool things about going to King is, as I think you mentioned, we have the Mojang studio there. There's already a lot of shared history between those two teams. Now they're all part of the same company. So I don't think we're going to be in the way of those teams making connections. When I think about the broadcasts that they do, I mean, BlizzCon's another thing that's coming up. How do we
We're
learn
going,
from
right? We
that?
got to go to BlizzCon.
That,
right?
I've never been to a BlizzCon, so that would be fun. Maybe Michael invite me. We'll see. But for me, it's identifying the teams, making sure they're settled, because you got to think about these are teams that have been under a certain kind of ownership structure for 40 years. And now all of a sudden they're part of Microsoft. They're part of Xbox. So showing up, being there in person. When I'm going to Stockholm, it's not just me. Our leadership team is going. I want to be listening more than talking. And then finding those opportunities. I'll say my inbox is already full from a lot of people at Activision, Blizzard, and King who want to make those connections, who want to both have a voice in what we do, but also listen and from how we do things. So I think the opportunity is going to be there. It's going to be making the connections between our leaders and making sure we all go in with a learning mentality. Not that we know what's right, but let's listen and learn because they do a ton of things very, very well.
It's all about that dialogue. Now I want to take a look back to take a look forward.
Yeah.
So almost a decade ago, you got the job. I remember the video of you in Studio D with Larry. I don't know if you.
I know, yeah.
I go back and watch it from
Você,
time to
cara,
time.
ele novinho aí, velho. Olha isso, irmão.
It's really interesting to see how Xbox's vision and journey has changed, and now we're going through this new phase with Activision, Blizzard, King, Bethesda. What is getting you as excited as you were back then about where Xbox is going?
You know, it's funny. I think there were a lot of cartoons written from when Larry and I did that of me saying games. I think dropping some mic. I don't actually think I said that, but the sentiment was nice. I've always thought that having a strong creative organization was going to be critical to our path forward. I don't see how we build a platform without the voices of our creative leaders right there, and here's what they want out of a platform. And when I think about now the breadth of just players that we have, creators from Candy Crush to Hearthstone to Starfield, to
Tem muita
Minecraft to
coisa,
State of
velho.
Decay 3, right? You have like a breadth of creations that want to come out on our platform.
O Xbox ele quer dominar, né, cara, o mercado. É muita coisa.
I am more
Muitas
excited
franquias.
about being here than I've ever been with the opportunity ahead. I mean, it's interesting. One of the members of our community who's awesome, his name's Clobril, and he's very good at building graphics. He built that like 2017 to now. I kind of looked at it and I was almost daunted by the change. And people want to go on Twitter and find him. He's an awesome member of the Xbox community and creates great graphics. But the growth in our creative capability was something that I thought was important from the beginning. Certain people would get upset that it wasn't going fast enough. Our first acquisition was Minecraft, and then we went through and went Double Fine and Undead and the list of a bunch of Playground, add Ninja. I'm gonna miss some, but like we added a bunch of teams, and then Bethesda, and now Activision Blizzard King. I'm just incredibly excited. I'd be remiss if I didn't say a little intimidated. I see a lot of people who claim I've been trained for this job. I think you all know that there's no training I go through, right? I'm always learning every day, both on the PR side and from the leadership side. So it's maybe when I thought about starting my career, I never thought this is where I would be. But when I talk to the teams and I hear from the individuals who want to be part of this and the opportunity that we have ahead of us, that's the part that just gets me up every morning, 5 o'clock this morning, ready to do this, ready to go to Stockholm today, ready to sit with teams. I love playing games. I love creating games, and what an amazing opportunity for us.
Phil, thank you so much for taking time, during what is probably the busiest time of your career or life.
At least I don't have a tie and I'm not in court, right? That's
But it was a good suit.
You like it?
Everybody liked it.
I saw
Good
it at
luck.
Spirit Halloween. You can be like someone walking behind with the coffee. That we're going to reenact that later on. So you got a 12-hour flight ahead of you, give or take, tonight. What are you going to be playing on the way?
So I have my ROG. I'm going to be playing some Starfield, of course. I'm really enjoying that. Speaking of Starfield, I know
we had
just
more big news.
just this morning. It's good news. It's for a friend of mine who I've known for a long time. Pete Hines at Bethesda has decided he's going to start the next journey of his life. He's got a lot of things that he wants to go do. He's been such an incredible leader for us at Bethesda for so long, but also has earned this, right? He went through the acquisition. He went through building Bethesda, through the acquisition, helped us get through an amazing launch of Starfield. And I'm happy for him. I'm kind of proud of him that he's taking the opportunity to think about what's next. But he's announced his retirement's coming in November.
Sim, cara, eu tinha esquecido. Inclusive porque assim, eu não tô fazendo muitas notícias aqui, né? Mas o Peter Hines, ele que tava fazendo todos os vídeos do Starfield antes de lançar, as divulgações, nos eventos, e realmente tinha esquecido disso, cara. Ele vai se aposentar, meus amigos.
It's nothing but great things to say.
Depois de muitos anos na Bethesda.
More than anything to this industry, to obviously Bethesda, to the Xbox in the time that we've worked together, and to me in just the feedback he's given me over the years and before he was here about things that he sees and opportunities. So nothing but great things to say about Pete. Congrats, my friend.
Cool. And so you'll be playing Starfield on the way.
Sorry. Starfield Sea of Stars is a game I really
Sea of Stars, meu irmão. Pessoal, coloca nos comentários aí se vocês chegaram a jogar esse jogo. Mano, que jogo lindo, cara. Que jogos, cara, supimpa, rapaziada. Que jogo lindão, mano. De verdade, Sea of Stars tá maravilhoso. O Starfield, todo o evento, até antes do lançamento, o Spencer já falava que estava jogando o Starfield. Eu não sei, coloca também nos comentários, quero saber a opinião de vocês sobre esse jogo. Eu gostei muito, tá, cara? Eu gostei demais de Starfield. Pra mim é um jogo muito legal. Entendo todas as críticas, tá, que ele vem recebendo. Eita, eu bati na mesa aqui, acho que mexeu a câmera. Mas eu entendo todas as críticas. E assim, eu gostei muito. Só que, cara, eu não acho que vai ser um jogo tão grande, que vai durar tanto tempo como o Skyrim, né? Porque a perspectiva que a gente tinha é que fosse um jogo que superasse, que iria superar o Skyrim, né? E não acho que isso vai acontecer. Não vejo o Starfield fazendo isso, né?
Yeah.
That may end up on some Game of the Year lists.
It should. Sea of Stars is fantastic. I've been playing Motorsport, Forza
Motorsport,
I'm
cara, que jogo
probably,
lindo.
truth be told, more of a Motorsport player than a Horizon player. If you go back kind of over the history of it, I'm still working on Brotato. For people who have not played the Brotato, it's a great Steam game. People should go try it. It's awesome on my ROG. But you're right, I've got 12 hours. In Starfield, we've done a few playthroughs before we launched. In this playthrough, I'm at the NASA facility on Earth, so I'm feeling good. So we'll see how much I get pulled back and forth. Another one.
É como eu falei, né? O negócio que ele joga, porque ele faz questão de falar, mano, tô jogando e eu tô nessa parte aqui do jogo, né? Que é a NASA, parada do jogo. Lies of P também, jogaço.
Lies of P. Neo is the team did an amazing job when you think about, hey, we're going to go in a genre that has such a high bar in terms of what people expect from combat, from feedback. I love the setting of kind of a gritty Pinocchio setting.
Yeah.
Great addition to Game Pass, but I'm not here to be an ad for Game Pass. But I am here to be an ad for Lies of P because it's an amazing team that did a great job on a game. So go play that. It's loaded on my ROG. I look forward to
this
playing.
This is a Lies of P Stan account
Yeah.
/ support.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
We've talked much about that game on
It's
this
emphasis on the
podcast.
support because I definitely need it.
I'm dealing with this very angry, scary clown robot right now.
Yeah.
And if you've passed that, we'll have to exchange some tips because right now I was up way too late last night.
And he's not even one of the big bosses.
No.
Oh.
He's
Well,
like mid-tier.
He's got the long energy bar, so I count
Right.
that as a big boss.
That's
There you go.
Yes.
So you're past this point.
No, I haven't gotten there because I've been struggling
okay.
more than Jeff has. But that was my
Okay.
understanding because people had called that one out in particular, that fight.
I've never been so both revolted and charmed by a game at the same time.
It's a
At
beautiful
least not in a
game.
long time. I love
There are
it.
some
Always one.
amazing games out right now.
Yes.
Oh,
many.
a
You
lot.
know, and it's we're right on the cusp of Spider-Man 2
Yep.
coming out, which will be another amazing game. When I just think about
Caraca, mano, o cara divulgando o jogo da PlayStation. Mano, o Free Space é diferenciado, né, guys? O cara divulgando o jogo da PlayStation. Spider-Man acabou de lançar também, tá? A nota absurda lá no Metacritic. Cara, o cara não tem medo não, irmão. Divulga tudo aí, o bagulho dele é jogar, tá ligado?
the amount of this year has been a special year in gaming.
Pessoal, desculpa
From
aí os
the beginning. I think there was a lot of
gripado.
pent-up production and creative energy from
Por causa da Covid, muito jogo teve que ficar pra frente, é verdade.
What I hope is that people keep in their head, I don't have to play, I can play a game that didn't launch in the last 2 weeks. So you can go, if you miss a game right now, you can, in, I don't know, January, February, whenever, you can go back and revisit because these games deserve to be played. And there's just an amazing amount of great games out right now. Baldur's Gate 3, another fantastic game.
E aliás, o tio Phil, porque assim, Baldur's Gate é um jogo que eu tô empolgadaço pra jogar no Xbox, tá? E vai ser lançado. Vai ser lançado, inclusive, esse ano, foi passado. Não sei se eles vão mudar alguma coisa, mas o diretor do Baldur's Gate, ele colocou, do estúdio, tá? Do Baldur's Gate não, do estúdio, colocou que Baldur's Gate ele está chegando no Xbox com a diferença nos consoles, né? No Series X, ele teria o jogo completo, normal, e no Series S, que era a dificuldade que eles estavam enfrentando de colocar no Series S, que era o modo multiplayer, né? De tela dividida. Eles não estavam conseguindo fazer isso. Por conta disso, não haviam lançado o jogo, ele não lançou no Xbox da mesma forma que lançou no PlayStation, na mesma data, né? Porque no Xbox, quando a produtora ela lança um jogo, o jogo tem que ser lançado para Xbox Series S e Series X, que é o que faz sentido. Então parece que eles entraram em um acordo com o Phil Spencer, que é o quê? O jogo ele vai ser lançado para Xbox Series X completo e com Series S para o Series S sem o modo multiplayer de tela dividida, porém esse modo multiplayer de tela dividida ele vai ser colocado para a versão da Xbox Series S após eles conseguirem estar ajeitando, né, colocando ali o que está faltando, eu esqueci o termo correto, mas está fazendo com que rode bem no console.
That's out. So anyway, it's a fun time to be playing right now.
Backlog
It
is
is
stacked.
a very great
Oh my
time
goodness.
right now. I think any final things you want to land, because we would be quite remiss if we made you late for your flight.
Yeah.
Cara, foi um negócio tão forçado essa risada, né? Tipo, ah, sabe, Ai, gente.
You know, it's these last, I guess for me, it's been 2 years. I guess publicly it's been, would you say 20 months or something like that?
Yeah.
I know it's been a journey for the teams internally. Definitely externally, I've seen it. But to the teams internally, I'll talk to them a little bit. I know that's not what the forum is for, but I have some members of the team here. Like the support, the conviction, the asking questions at the right time. I can see people biting their tongues sometimes when they want to ask a question, but not sure it's right. Same thing with the community outside. I just appreciate all of the words and all the kind of support and kind of go get them. It's been a long process, a learning process for me. It felt awesome to get through it on Friday. I spent the weekend just kind of reflecting on this and then get up this morning and say, let's go get it. But I know for you and people who are out there supporting Xbox, people who have a job to go do, that the kind of level of uncertainty and noise was different than maybe what we were used to or what we're supposed to be focused on. I'm glad that's behind us, and now what an amazing opportunity ahead. So let's go make it all real, make it matter.
Go
Yes.
team, go team.
We'll do the cheer at the end. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Make sure you tune in next week. We'll of course be back here in the studio and probably on a Thursday, our regular day. And we really, as Phil was saying, care what you think. So let us know in the comments. Whether that's on YouTube, whether that's answering the questions that we usually put up there on Spotify, and even in the tweets out there. We do read them. We do greatly appreciate them. We're even formulating the show on the fly. So yes, you can find us on youtube.com/Xbox if you were listening today, or if you were watching, you can always take us with you in the car on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify. Wherever fine.
Gente, né, o negócio.
Found.
Acho que
So,
acabou.
yeah.
Finalizou
All right.
aqui. É isso aí. Acabou-se. Então vou deixar a tela aqui. Vamos falar um pouquinho. Guys, ele falou então aqui, vamos pegar aqui até por barra, né? Ele falou aqui um pouquinho sobre o campeonato de Halo, mas vamos focar aqui só na parte de perguntas sobre a Activision, né? Acho que a mais importante, o que o pessoal realmente mais queria saber, seria referente aos jogos estarem chegando no Game Pass ou não. Eu acho que uma pergunta que seria interessante eles terem feito para ele, que não fizeram, não sei se enfim, não sei porquê, ou se não... Enfim, não sei, né? Seria tudo bem. Os jogos da Activision, eles não vão estar chegando no Game Pass agora em 2023. Então, se ele falou, cara, esquece, não vai... ele deixou bem claro que, assim, ele gostaria de estar fazendo uma surpresa, como foi o jogo lá que foi lançado aí faz pouco tempo, que teve o evento do Xbox, ele foi lançado o evento, sabe? Então, que inclusive da Bethesda, eu não lembro agora o nome do jogo, é o de guitarra lá, um jogo de música, muito bonito, aliás. Mas não vai ser isso, né? O console, os jogos, eles vão estar chegando somente no ano de 2024. Então, isso é uma certeza que nós já temos aqui, tá bom, guys? Outra coisa também interessante, ele falando sobre falou um pouco sobre os jogos, e eu queria pontuar, guys, novamente uma coisa que é o diferencial, porque o Phil Spencer, cara, ele é o chefe do Xbox, né? E outras plataformas, outros consoles, eles também têm os seus chefes, né? Tem o pessoal que representa ali. E eu acho que, cara, o Xbox fez um super negócio colocando esse cara em cima, porque ele é um cara muito extrovertido, e ele sabe do que ele tá falando, né? E você vê que, assim, ele começa a falar de jogos, e ele entende o que ele tá falando sobre os jogos, ele não fica divagando ou falando coisas nada a ver, não, ele realmente tem um negócio ali que, irmão, só vai. Sabe, ele tá sabendo do assunto. Que ele é um cara que ele sabe falar também, né? Então a Xbox colocou um cara, uma Microsoft, né? Colocou um cara que manja muito dos Paranauê, dessa parada aí. Mas isso aí, rapaziada. Não vou colocar muito mais o vídeo, porque, cara, já foi muita coisa. Acho que é o maior vídeo que eu fiz no canal até agora, sem ser de gameplay, né? Coloca nos comentários o que vocês acharam, qual foi a parte que vocês acharam mais interessante desse podcast. E se vocês querem que eu traga mais react de podcasts aqui do Xbox, aqui no canal. Então, se vocês quiserem, coloca aí que eu quero saber e vou estar trazendo mais pra vocês, rapaziada. É isso aí, meus amigos. Eu vou ficando por aqui. Valeu. Fui!